Blessfm radio, playing good tunes.
From the mystical breeze in the morning till the dawning of a new day.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Sister Lil Show on Blessradio on 92.9 FM, or you can find us on www.blessradio.org. Do excuse the coffee tonight. I've got really bad hay fever. So the first track we're going to play for you tonight, we've got Sister London in the studio with us.
Greetings.
Welcome,
everybody.
Welcome.
Hello to the whole wide world.
And the first track we're going to play is Loxy Castell, and it's What a Great Day. And so here we go.
You're in tune to Blessradio. You're in tune to Blessradio.
children to achieve vanity will be tried like active when judgment comes.
Only Jah around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah.
Blessradio. You're in tune to Blessradio.
When the heathen rage, where you run to? When the Babylon stress, where you run to? When they down pressure, where you run to? Where you run to? Tell me where you run to. When they come to crucify, where you run to? When they come to bring you down, where you run to? When they come for blood, where you run to? Jah I run to, Jah I will run to, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Always, yeah. Walk with Jah when the enemy surround you. Anywhere we go, Rastafari be around you. Walk with Jah, make the angel them come crown you. Only King Selassie I Jah all around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Only Jah around you, yeah. Always. Always, 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 yeah. Walk with Jah when the enemy surround you. Anywhere we go, Rastafari be around you. Walk with Jah, make the angel them come crown you. Only King Selassie I Jah all around you.
Greetings everybody. We are now going to get into our reasoning with Sister London here, and we're going to actually be talking to you tonight about the incident that's been quite reported on mainstream news about charities. And we always say charity begins at home. But we found that these charities have not been applying that kind of understanding to the way they've dealt with one of our regions, which is Haiti. So Sister in London and I are going to reason about this. So one of the facts is that we know in 2010 that there was a 700.0 earthquake which devastated Haiti. I mean, the disaster killed between 200,000 and 300,000 people and initially displaced 2.3 million. So you can imagine the devastation that was in this place. Homes were buried in rubble, marketplace, government buildings were completely destroyed in a country that already, I guess, had ranked the poorest in the Western Hemisphere. And you know, Haiti made a call out to all of the aid workers across the world due to the scale of its devastation. And this was the reason why there was such a large influx of aid workers from different organizations into Haiti. Now, the situation started to be highlighted when there was a UN report published in May 2015, and it found that members of its peacekeeping mission in Haiti sadly traded sex for aid with more than about 225 women between 2008 and 2014. Now, this is something which is quite worrying, because Haiti has its law is that prostitution is illegal, and it carries a sentence of about 15 years. Yeah, it's really big sentence for that, and it's that sentence for those who knowingly use the services of a trafficked, sex worker. And of course, there's so many people that are doing things under the cover that it is hard for them to track it, and sometimes the law is seldomly enforced. It is definitely known. It is not known how many women and girls work in this industry in Haiti, but the experts who've done some of the investigations have said it's in the thousands. Now, the thing that's quite alarming is that Oxfam has been present in Haiti since 1978. Yeah. So it's not since 2010 when that earthquake happened. It's actually
78.
yeah,
so
quite a few decades before.
Yeah.
So
Population, really, isn't it?
exactly. And of course, their presence increased due to this catastrophic earthquake of 2010, and as did scores of other non-governmental organizations that flooded into the area. The question of this is that of double trauma. You've already lost your everything within your world due to this natural disaster, and then you have aid workers on top of this making a mockery of the disaster by luring people, adult women, teenagers and sadly children, into trading their bodies for the aid you're supposed to be doing in a charity way.
Wow. Yeah, it's a violation.
Yeah. So these people have to be. It's double trauma for them, because not only have they lost everything, but they're also, like you're saying, being violated on top of it. So this causes a deeper sense of imbalance within the person, a deeper sense of pain, because you don't know if the person's lost family, lost friends. They would have lost so much of their earthly possessions within this
Couldn't imagine.
this terrible.
What was the news that came up today about Haiti and the charities involved?
Well, the news for today is that Haiti has now stood up against this and has permanently sorry, listeners, it's this hay fever. So Haiti has permanently banned Oxfam from operating there. After first they were suspended, but now they've actually banned them. But it doesn't mean that Haiti is still going to be liaising with other affiliates of Oxfam, but not the ones that are from the UK. Now, I think if you're going to ban Oxfam, you should ban the whole lot.
Oh, right, so it's just the UK one in particular. That's quite interesting as well.
Yeah. And I don't really think England's in a position that they want any more scandals than what's been going on recently. We'll get into a bit more of this information slightly later, but there's also the stuff that was going on with the EDF last week, when they were, doing a lot of backlashes against the police because, they put him in, they locked him behind bars. So there's a bit of problem there with that. And there was a huge march within London. I wonder how people felt when that was happening last week. And it hasn't really been sensationalized in the news as black on black crime, or the supposed high level black on black crime, should I say. But before we go into a bit more of this, what's going on in Haiti, I'm going to play you a couple more tracks. And the first one is going to be Christine Miller, and it's called Zion Bound and a Zion Dub. You're going to really like this track because I think it's brilliant. Here we go.
Blessradio. Blessfm. You're in tune to Blessradio.
your mind. Take a step onto a higher plane to reach.
This one is called Dub Up Your Mind, and it's by an artist called, a UK artist called Barry Dread.
You're in tune to Blessradio.
It's more than time to make a change. Make a change.
Daryl and Deck, love you lots.
Who writes the words, creates the spell. Love, 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 love,
Yes, my people, that was the great Barry Dread, and that song He's a UK artist, and that track was called Dub Up Your Mind. Now we're back with Sister London on the mic.
Greetings.
And we were talking about charity and how there's been quite a lot of disjointedness when it comes to charity work.
Straight violation.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
When
You
it
can't say how it is. No, but it's
It's
real,
true.
man. Like, messing with people, families, children.
Yeah, when they've come out of such a horrendous disaster in 2010, as we know, to be in 2010, you know, like having this influx of these aid workers. So it's taking advantage of the tragedy and the pain that these people are going through and abusing it for your own personal gain. Now, if you saw a homeless person on the road, would you ask him, can you trade your body for a bit of rice and beef? You know, would you really do that? Because this is what's happening. And
I don't think it's even personal gain as far as it's sexual gratification, isn't it?
yeah, but that is a personal gain because you're doing it for your own self.
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm not even doing it. It's
really sad.
Yeah.
But the thing that's quite disturbing is that even after the exposure, the Commission said that it had received 532. Sorry, I have to say that again because it's so shocking. Even afterwards, everything was brought to light after all the exposure. 532 new reports of serious safeguarding incidents across the sector in February and March this year, up from 176 people and reports in the same period last year.
Is that across all charity organisations in the UK?
Yeah,
the amount
for Haiti, yeah. Specifically in
just
Haiti,
for Haiti,
yeah.
not necessarily Oxfam, but
No.
other NGOs,
Yeah,
charities
because-
that were in.
Yeah, because that's what they were
vicinity at the
investigating.
time.
Yeah, they're investigating
So
Haiti.
people are basically, they're coming forward because it's brought to light.
I think that's why they probably feel safer now that things are brought to light to start talking about it. But it does actually say the number of reports for the whole of 2016 to 2010 were 1,210, and the watchdog said that 219 of the allegations came from aid groups funded by the Department of International Development.
Wow.
So this is even someone else outside of Oxfam. And I know that Vice News, you know, the Vice, the
Yeah,
documentary
love
people,
Vice, yeah.
yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go into Haiti, but they one of the places that they did go was into Kenya. And they looked at the same thing was happening over there, and the reports of very young children. Now, when I say very young, I'm not talking 7 and 8, I mean 2 and 3 years old, that they are actually treating their bodies like they do an adult person. And a lot of the parents were obviously devastated because many of these children had gone out to try and help their parents. The parents had sent them out along the beaches to ask for a bit of change. Now, you as a parent think nothing's going to happen to the child. There's too much naivety and faith that they put in the safety of that child. And they sent them out thinking nobody's going to harm a little child, and you might think, oh, she's cute or he's cute, and give them a little change for the tourists, because on the beach it's mostly the tourists.
Yeah.
But the amount of devastation in those mothers or fathers who, when they get their children back, they've been interfered with by adults, European adults from this country, who actually get on a plane and go, i.e., to any of the...
I think it's time, because the UK has a real problem with sex tourism. We
Yeah.
are like the number one when
Yeah.
it comes to sex tourism. And
Yeah.
this is what we're seeing. You know, this is what has been brought up in Haiti, and in the case that you're talking about with Vice TV going to Kenya and reporting these things, it's disgusting.
It's
And this is
absolutely
something, I
disgusting.
mean, there are the paedophile rings in this country.
Are
There's a lot of stuff.
excessive.
There's a lot of high level stuff. A lot of people that go missing. And when you are a person of,
you feel superior.
Yeah.
Maybe in your, white supremacy taking over the brain, and you believe the world is yours, and wherever you travel you can go, and then you take advantage of people
Yes,
who
absolutely
you think are
disgusting.
inferior to you, and then also, who you take advantage of their position.
Yeah, because
Awful.
I mean, we look at that, and then we have the something league, the
English
ED, that's it, EDL, the English Defence League, having an issue with, so the people who are going to the motherland and across the islands, where we have disaster and they actually need genuine help, like in Haiti, for example. That's not to do with laziness, you haven't developed your country, and all these other allegations that get put onto economic situations. Yeah, exactly. And these people are going there and they're committing these acts of anti-human behavior against children and young adults. And the thing is, EDL had a huge march all through the West End and so on, to do with the rings of English children, European children who've been kidnapped and taken and used for child sex industry. So there's a bit of a double standard here. You can march and make a complaint when it's a child with big blue eyes and blonde hair, but because of their physical appearance changes, the value of that child's safety suddenly disappears.
Yeah, well, Haiti is a long way away. This is the thing, we're not there.
Yeah.
So I can, if the EDL decided to go protest against paedophile rings happening in the UK to children in the UK, I can't say I disagree with that act.
No, I think that is right. But if you're going to march for one group of children, why not from people who you are calling foreigners? Then why do you not stand up when you see your people who would be foreigners in Haiti going there and actually...
highlight their own foolishness,
but it's true. I mean, if the pan cannot call the pot bottom black, it's as simple as that.
Would we really expect the EDL to go and march for Haiti? Would it be up to us to
No,
march for Haiti?
but the same way, the English people who like to go to Haiti and sit on the beach and enjoy themselves are actually walking up and down with the EDL group, EDLF whatever group, and actually, it's electricity, I think, with this group, and they're marching and making a big song and dance. Some of them were rioting and all this carrying on was going on. If that was us doing that on a reparation march, you'll soon see it all across headline news. Now, this double standards of it's okay to do that to you but don't do the same to me is not correct. If it's wrong for one child, it's wrong for all children. I don't care if they're pink with blue spots on. Wrong is wrong. And you do not desecrate a child's innocence just for yourself, so you have 2 seconds of enjoyment, and you put that child through a horror movie, a living horror movie, just for your gain. No, if it's wrong for one, it's wrong for all. So can you imagine, these people have been there since 2010. Well, a larger group of them started infiltrating in 2010, but that's due to the earthquake. But to be there since 1978, and you've not repaired anything.
I know. Well, that's the case with a lot of the charities out there, Comet Relief, what's that one? The Feed the World one. In the 80s, Feed the World.
Save the Children,
Yeah, no, they had the whole thing for that.
Bob Geldof.
Charity's been happening in this country for hundreds of years, middle class people feeling sorry for the working class and, deciding that to take the moral high ground and help people. Charity is a good thing, yeah? But obviously when you're taking advantage of situations, people's, level of poverty, and you're going to other places and you're not helping, you're creating a worse environment for these people, obviously that's that needs to be accounted for, that behaviour.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean,
you know, it's mainly European men going over, or as a problem seems to be UK men going over to these places and doing those things.
it's absolutely shocking, and it's so shocking that Archbishop Desmond Tutu has resigned as an ambassador for Oxfam, saying that he's deeply disappointed about the charity sex scandal. Sorry, we're not doing art here. Sex scandal. So yeah, we've seen that even others who this information has come to, it's been quite shocking to them.
Disgusting.
And they've had it, but you see, you've gone from a place that has had such a horrendous earthquake, and the devastation is so vast, and yet now you're causing psychological and emotional issues in innocent people who are already in a disaster zone, just so you can have a couple of tequilas in the bar down the road.
But these people is more, they're not right in the head.
No, but it's groups of their aid workers that are doing this. So if large quantities of your aid workers think it's okay to trade money for sex, it's not that it's a one-off case or one person or two person. There are thousands of people who've been, and like not just adults, children, the next couple of generations away from being an adult. They're babies now, or 2 or 3. They've got a long time to actually learn and grow. But no, along came you, Mr. Oxfam, and desecrated on those children. So what's going to happen to the next generation of people in Haiti? Will they not have damaged people? I mean, all societies have damaged people, but when it's something that has been enforced, especially considering the fact that Haiti, as we'll get into a little bit later with Sister London, Haiti is a place that has quite a strong history in relationship to their slavery to the revolution. Sorry, hay fever blank. But yeah, to their historical revolution, and it was a place to be admired for the fact that they went through 10 years of uprisings to fight for their freedom. But now since they've been continuously paying a price. We will go into those things a bit later on. But we're going to give you a little bit of a break, and I'm going to play for you Black Amolo, and it is called Positive Ever, because despite all adversities, we do still need to keep our mind on a positive wavelength so we don't get sucked in by those who are trying to oppress us. So here we go, Positive Ever. Oops, Positive Ever.
I we say positive ever. I we say negative never. Yeah. Oh, positive ever. We say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. Positive ever. We say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. 1, 2, 3, Holy Trinity. Black Omolo there, air ready, steady. Uplift the youth, uplift the ready. Black Omolo there, ever ready. Right, and let me push the fire to the giddy.
Blessradio.
You're in tune to Blessfm. We na fear now. Mash, we a mash, we a them we na fear now. Mash, we a mash out the wicked ones. Positive ever, we say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. Positive ever, we say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. Positive ever, we say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. Positive ever, we say negative never. In a the giddy and wise and clever. In a the giddy
Blessradio. Bless. You're in tune to Blessradio.
Positive ever, we say negative never. In a diggity and wise and clever. Positive ever, we say negative never. In a diggity and conscious mind me live it up, me fire Babylon. We not fear the system. Positive ever, we say negative never, ever, 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 ever.
Called King Alpha meets Sherma, Empress Sherma, and it's called Empress Menu.
You're in tune to Blessradio. Tune to Blessradio.
To Drea, I know you're there working hard at the exams. Keep on pushing, sister.
process. Make them streets locomotion.
Going through to Blessradio. Going through to
and always be honest. You're so blessed, so blessed. You're so blessed.
Shout out to Manny and Yembi up there in Manchester. Leroy Dorn, I've forgotten about you. Hope it's not chilly up there.
Going through to Blessradio.
is what is there for free. Let's share it with humanity. Don't hold it back just for your own. We're not meant to live life alone. Love is where we come from. Show yourself and let it flow. Love is our water that brightens the hearts. No, 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 no.
Going to Blessradio, to Blessradio.
No, no, I can't make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to thank him. Oh gosh, I can't make we. Oh gosh, now that's why we have to thank him. Can't make we. Oh gosh, now yes we have to love him. Can't make we. Oh gosh, that's why we have to praise him. Because the
Greetings, everyone. So we're back in the studio with Sister London. That last track was Singer Blue. And it was Who Make We? And I think that's a question for all of us to be asking, especially when we're talking about charity begins at home. Who made us and who do we have to give an answer to at the end of the day? So I think it's really important that we look beyond ourselves, as in recognize that the energy is running through all living things. Now, the thing that I don't understand about what we've been talking about in relationship to charity begins at home, with the headlines with excuse me, hay fever with Oxfam, and all of the devastation that they have caused, and just the shockingness about it being damage on top of damage. So it's like a double whammy of pain from different yeah, absolutely,
violation at the end of the day. It goes back to Haiti. I remember Haiti serves as an example to the rest of us of what happens when, you know, liberation is a real thing. It's reality. You know, Haiti has a long history of you know, galvanizing and you know, they're the only Caribbean island, to successfully free themselves from their enslavement.
Absolutely, you know? Because one thing that I found to be quite amazing about Haiti is that it spent from 1791 to 1804. You check the time frame. I'll say it again, 1791 to 1804. And during this time, they launched, well, it's been described as the largest and most successful, as Sister London was just reasoning there with you, most successful slave revolt in the Western Hemisphere.
13 years it took them.
Yeah, but they achieved it at the end, and they were made examples of by a lot of the restrictions that have been put on them through trade and economic and political section. But what we're looking at is, despite the odds that have been thrown at Haiti as a group of people, the Haitians have stood in solidarity and have actually risen time and time again. It shows how strong they are, time and time again, against oppression. And that's the strength of their lineage running right through their veins, because they are their ancestors. And the fact that they are standing still strong, and it just really shows you, and it just really shows you how their strength, or their spiritual strength, really is. Because you imagine somebody this is what's happening to them is on a much larger scale. But if you imagine you're in a school playground and you've got this consistent bully, and you spend the duration of your school years being bullied and harassed by this one individual.
What we call France. France is the bullies in this situation.
I mean, we get to the point where the victim of the bullying suddenly starts to become immune to your victimization, and you see, that the child who's being bullied, or the adult who's being bullied, when you get to that point, what the bully does is no longer relevant to your existence. What they do no longer affects you the way it did in 1704. It no longer hurts you as much, even though the tactics have changed and the design of behaviour has advanced.
They still hurt Haitians. Like, look at Haiti.
From an economic and a political viewpoint, yes. But they are so resilient. I mean, you have to admire
their strength. It's their faith, isn't it? The voodoo. Or vodom, or voodoo, which has been so, negatively looked at. I mean, that's black magic. When they call black magic bad magic, it's the voodoo that we think about, the voodoo, the vodom. That is what we think about. But if it wasn't for them having that, they wouldn't have been able to free themselves from their incarceration. That energy that they got. I mean, Footman, Dutty, there's another sister as well that helped stir up that energy. You know, burning fires, beating drums, and getting all up into that, you know, that meditative mode where you have to go out and perform in insurrections. Like you're taking blades, machete, you're going out and you're killing people for your freedom.
Yeah, and what was amazing, as you're on that about the Haiti uprisings, is that we have to also remember that there were several uprisings happening simultaneously in Haiti. So an uprising wasn't just happening in Tottenham Hale. There were uprisings happening in like Southall, like in Crouch End, Hackney, Brixton, Sydenham, all these, you know, it was across Haiti that this was happening. And I think that's just to show you how the internal organisation, to
make that happen. Organisation, definitely.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that are generally overlooked in the characteristics and the personality of the people who did those uprisings. And despite all the continuous negative connotations put on Haiti, you know, oh, the voodoo, the this, the that, the other, I think there's something far greater. And as I'm saying, it's resilience, it's organisation, it's strength of character, it's having a spiritual faith that you don't give up on, it's belief and understanding in the most, well, not belief, what's the word? Not belief. They knew that they were connected. Yeah.
But you see, you say all this about Haiti, which is, you know, is true, it's great. But then I remember when I lived in Antigua, and the attitude of people there towards Haiti, like, I mean, this was 10 years ago now. Yeah. But the attitude was like, you know, when something happened to Haiti, it was like, oh, well, that's no surprise. They're devil worshippers type of thing.
But
you know, they look down upon
Haitians
when things happen, and I was quite shocked. I was like, okay, so is this why? Okay, so why is it that you lot don't like Haiti?
But I think that this this stereotype that exists within the Caribbean region is simply because during the plantation trades,
Bless Radio. You're in tune to Bless Radio.
Who were being brainwashed about how to see other African groups, you know, like new people onto the plantations or other areas of Africans. They absolutely were being told about you know those Pekingese there, they're doing all this witchcraft. And you know, when you're being trained on a plantation and your mind is being shaped by dishonest sentiments, it causes
to say the least.
You
know, and Jamaica and Haiti, they had some of the worst seasoning plantations going. So Haiti, the way they used to treat the enslaved Africans in Haiti and Jamaica was particularly bad.
It was particularly bad, and it was bad off the back of the testing ground. Those were seasoning plantations, but the testing ground of barbaric behaviour actually happened in Barbados. And I think that in itself has left quite a scar on the island to be tested. And you can go there and it's like being in Britain in the sun. Now that's not really a Caribbean look, because you know, it's like having the whole of say South London looking like you know, very traditional China. Now I don't think people would really like that, but this is the case that is in Barbados. Now we have to remember that these people, and that's why I was stressing their resilience so much, because of the quantity of hardship and ill treatment that the Haitians have gone through, even from an economic and trading perspective. And then now again in 2010, even though they've been there since 1973, there is still this disparity in their behavior, because you couldn't have spent so long out there and not have built a bridge, really impacted the infrastructure, so that people are not still looking like they're living in a disaster zone.
Yeah, well, the thing about Haiti, because Haiti was like the jewel of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's France's most profitable colony. It was envied by the British and the other European countries as well. It used to produce a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
The thing is that the deforestation of the island and the eradication of the soil and the natural way that the island is, set up.
And that was probably plan number 2.
And it's devastated. Yeah. So then what happens is that it can't protect itself from natural disasters, certain things happening. Do you understand? So that's played a part in the way Haiti is today.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's not even forget to mention about the reparations that Haiti had to pay all the way up into the middle of last century.
Yeah.
Towards France, because France upset because they lost lands. Louisiana, they lost those lands there, because the French used to be in the USA, as we see in New Orleans in the South. They had a big influence in the Southern American culture, but then also because of the Haitian Revolution, they lost those lands, and they had to return back to France. The people have already uprised as well, because the French Revolution is what inspired the leaders of the Haitian Revolution to take up arms as well. So after France felt shame, innit? They lost their lands. They lost to Britain as well, because the whole Napoleon v Nelson. And then you turn around, because you remember the sugar's gone, because now I think now Jamaica's making that sugar. There's other islands taking up the slack to
compensate them for the lack of slave workers.
But then they go back to Haiti and threaten them, like the bullies that they are, like you mentioned before, and saying to Haiti, you know what, if you don't pay us and it's a big amount of money, we're talking in the millions. I
think it was that's one of the areas.
We're going to come back and we're going to we're going to enslave you again.
Yeah, because it's in this issue of reparations. I mean, I think it's the 1st of August this year that we have the reparations march here in London, in reference to people being paid in an illegitimate way, and these illegitimate laws which haven't been dismissed yet, and the rectification of all the wrongs. And it's not just about give us X amount of pounds in sterling. It's also about rebuilding what you've set back or destroyed. It's very simple. If you damage somebody's car, don't you have to pay for damages? If you damage anything of another person's, you either need to replace it, or you will get charged if you have to go through the court systems to compensate that individual for the wrongs that you've done. This isn't really any different. It's just
worse, because
it's much worse because it's on a much larger scale, and it's actually impacted whole groups of people across islands and countries across the world.
The wealth is being sucked out. I mean,
sucked out of other people.
Paying France millions and millions of francs or whatever currency they paid them back in, over a period of 100 years. Paying them back. That money, whatever money Haiti was making after they successfully freed themselves, that would have been going straight back to France.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the same as in the UK. when we're coming on the issue of reparations, because in the UK it was common practice for the average female or male in Britain, not just offshore, as we're led to believe, but actually here on the home turf, almost every household had a slave. Now, when you have to queue up to be paid to let go of treating someone in such, like how the dairy industry works, you're treating these humans in the same process. That is something that we all have to start thinking about. And those who are claiming that they're not part of their system's agenda, I think really need to stand up and start talking about these things, because I think a unified approach to humanitarianism is what we need across the board. Now, I don't advocate child abuse for any children. Like I said earlier, I don't care if you've got pink spots and blue hair. It's the fact that you're stripping away the innocence of a child and you're psychologically damaging them permanently. For those that have the strength and all the love around them to enable them to move forward, that's great. But many of these children, especially the ones that we're finding in Haiti, and it's young people, will have these horrendous scars. Now the question is how are they going to repair this damage? And I think there needs to be a call for that repair, because it's damaging the lives of child, and the child protection agencies really need to come forward with a larger step.
They need to come with a solution, because if anyone is going to help Haiti, they need to understand the history of it, of the country, and how it's come to be how it is now, and the violation that has taken place. I mean, how can they be successfully free themselves, but yet 200 years later still be in, well, over 200 years later now, be in a position of weakness still? That shouldn't be the case.
I think it's because there was a song many moons ago by a group called Arrested Development, and they sang a song, and it was feed a man a fish and they'll eat for today, teach him how to fish and he'll eat forever. And I think this is the problem, what's been going on with Oxfam. They're trading sex for you to be able to feed that man that fish for that one meal, so I eat your bowl of rice. And
it's charity in general. I wouldn't even say, even if this scandal has happened and it is a violation, it is disgraceful, and it should be addressed. But in terms of all charities, what really are they doing? I'm not saying that they're not going to help, because people genuinely believe that they're going to help, and they do help people, but you're just
in their own office.
In the case of the feed a man a fish for a day, that's what they're doing. They're feeding them for days, because like you said, how can Oxfam be in Haiti since 1978 and really nothing ain't better? And that goes for the same for all the other countries in the world that these charities go to and help. They're not helping because it's not, they're just putting plasters on situations.
Exactly.
Like the root problems got to go have conversations with people like the IMF. You know, we're talking debt, like cancel the debt, redistribute the land. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Whenever there were any people revolutions, like back in the day in this country and around the world, that would be the same thing. The people would get together when it comes to a time and say, cancel the debt, redistribute the land. Because now we're in an age where they don't want to cancel debt. Everybody has debt. Money.
I mean, they
debt.
need to cancel. But these kinds of debts that you haven't borrowed the money of someone, you've just taken away from a person. That's theft. Full stop.
And you're draining the people. So people that are being, because it's not the elites. Because remember, you got the bourgeoisie, the elites who are always gaining from other people coming in and taking, pretending to help the people, but they're not helping the people. They're just giving backhanders to those people in positions of power. You know, that doesn't help.
Absolutely.
You know? And so then the people's through taxation,
Yeah.
they're being stripped away because all that money's got to go back. It's the same thing that's happening to us right now.
Yeah.
But obviously, Haiti is a whole different kettle of fish.
I mean, what we were expecting to see from Oxfam, if there are any Oxfam listeners out there, because you never know, we would really love to see Oxfam actually start to put in proper schools that function properly across the board, hospitals, the infrastructure of the roads, clear away the rubble from the earthquake. Listen, you've taken that much money after post-slavery. I'm sure you can spare a bob or two now to actually fix what you've done wrong. It's as simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is. If it's simple the other way round, then it's simple this way round too. Like I'm always saying, what's good for the goose is even better for the gander.
Yeah, well, these are conversations that, people just don't really want to have, but we're coming to that time now. But they need to. We are, because this Oxfam situation has highlighted, you know, the disparities in how which charities treat different people from around the world. I would like to think that they wouldn't even think about trying to do those things in more westernized countries.
Yeah.
Like, because there's too many things going on, too many, like there's people get paid to track you and DBS checks and all of that. Why Oxfam didn't do DBS checks, but it costs money to do DBS checks, and they're a charity, so you're not going to spend money on checking people who want to come and help because they're volunteering at the
absolutely
end of the day.
And
so
even but there's even when Oxfam had cases being brought forward of allegations, they were dismissed. So you have a whole, it's not just the cases that they've done now, it's all those cases they dismissed. It was like, oh, let's just carry on, keep your nose clean. You know, there was all this business going on when in actual fact there was a very seedy and very dirty, some of you might not like the description, but it we all know it is not correct behavior and damaging behavior, and showing children hate rather than love sets emotion in place for the next generation. Perhaps that's the plan. You damage the youths, and then the next generation will still continue to be underneath us.
True, because I do think there's definitely an agenda happening in the case of Haiti. And Black Jamaica. Liberation cannot be a reality, like successful. It cannot be a reality as long as white supremacy, and I use this term as just it is what it is, people. If you cannot see that, I
mean, white supremacy is a power game. As far as I can see, it's manifestations of things like capitalism, racism. All these things are the manifestation of power. And I think until this society begins to understand that having this craving and this greed for power is not just damaging to the people you're oppressing, you're actually damaging your own society. Because while you're running around not developing your own culture and your own community, running around just picking up from other people's gardens, you end up leaving yours uncultivated, and now you have a problem whereby there's a lot of unskilled people here, and you're having to open the EU to get skilled work. And the people that come from our nation, i.e. people from the African diaspora, in all of our different cultures and societies, are very, the word is, we're very adaptable and very good at excelling when we have a chance. But no, you don't want the people that were born here from other communities to actually develop and be a credit to your society. You'd rather oppress them and get foreigners in from other places, i.e. in the EU and so on, to come over, take over jobs. Now you've got disgruntledness and all of this. I think it's about time that Britain started learning from its horrendous mistakes. And on that note, we've literally got a few minutes, because I am 7 minutes over my time, and we are going to play for you one last track. I hope you enjoyed some of the points that Sister London and I brought to the table. In another show we will go a little bit deeper about Haiti and its historical stance, and how that affects the here and now of today, outside of the 2010 tragedy and this influx of Oxfam and this scandal of disgraceful and shameful behaviour.
Disgusting, really.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out to the dudes. Hope you're good.
And we hope to see Haiti start some healing. They are strong people, so I do believe and have a confidence that they will rise. Once again, they've risen so many times, and now it's time for them to rise again, and they will, with their ancestors' help now, and the Most High, of course. So the last track I'm going to play for you is by Keety Roots, and it is called A Mighty Long Way, and it's the Black Legacy. So I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic week. Oh, one last thing. On Sunday, there's Auntie Jean's Cultural Market in Canary Wharf, and it starts from 1 till 8. Great event to go to. There'll be several fantastic craft fairs, craft tables there, and there'll also be some event that's going on upstairs in the other room. So for those of you who haven't been there, I would definitely say it's a great place to go and venture down to. You can get your products, or you can listen to an event, and it's a way for us to buy black as well. So the next track is Keety Roots, Mighty Long Way, Black Legacy. Here we go.
Going to Blessradio.
We have come a mighty long way. We still got mighty long way to go. Such a mighty long way. We survived that middle passage. We survived 400 years of chattel slavery. We survive We still got a mighty long way to go, yeah.
Blessradio. You're in tune to Blessradio.
I and I never compromise. What is wrong from right, you know? Yeah. What a confusion. When you mean good, you say wicked and bad. Such an illusion. When you mean you say wicked and bad. That's where from your mouth and that meditation of your heart is not compatible. Every day we all fall short of the glory of Jah. Cause we live with no life's discipline and structure, no. Let your yes be your yes, and your no be your no. Let wicked be evil, yeah, so the right seeds can grow. What a confusion. When you mean what you say wicked and bad. It's such an illusion. When you mean what you say wicked and bad. That word from your mouth and that meditation of your heart is not compatible, no. When you explain to a child
their trust in the Most High and abided under the shadow of the Almighty.
Looks like you got me for another track. This one's Vibonics featuring Jamariah, and it's Tra-la-la-la-la.
Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. I and I show Rastafari, yeah. Hail of the Most High, yeah. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Tra-la-la-la-la. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. I and I show Rastafari, yeah. Hail of the Most High, yeah. We have the hail of the Most High, Jah. Hail in the Most High, Jah. We have the hail of the Most High, Jah. Ayanaya conqueror, yo. We have the hail in the Most High, Jah. Hail of the Most High, Jah. We have the hail of the Most High, Jah. Ayanaya conqueror. Jah is the seed, the root, the stem, the branch and the leaf. Jah is the veg, the fruit, the herb, the birds and the bees. Jah make the earth, the sky, the land and distant seas. That's why we have to give Jah all the thanks and praise. Jah live in a I, Jah live in a you, Jah love is all around. No place on this earth where Jah love is never found, yo. Home sound well, tell me home sound well. I listen, I see, I wear the triple crown. Jah la 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 la. Cha la 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 la, cha la 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 la. I and I show Jah Rastafari, yeah. Hail of the Most High, yeah. So cha la 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 la, cha la 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 la, cha la 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 la. I and I show Jah Rastafari, yeah. Hail of the Most High, yeah. Jah is the flowers, the trees, and all good things like these. Jah is the rain, the snow, the sun, and the cool breeze. Jah is the sun, the moon, the stars, and all living things. Universal waves, four corners, four winds. Jah is the truth, the light, my rock, protect us from sins. Jah is the right, the side, my mind to keep us right. Wherever you go, wherever you step, remember that Jah. Poor blessings and joy, the Most High will provide. La 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 la.